Welcome back, friends and family. On this episode of the Phil Hodgett Experience, I'm going to be addressing a comment, a big paragraph that somebody left, and I'm going to go ahead and read that comment out loud. On a previous video, I'll put the card up wherever those card things go, hopefully, if I remember this time. I realized I messed up the last time I did that. But I'll put the link in that too if you want to go watch that video, and so you help break down the comments so you understand what he said. But I assume it's a he, right? 2024, 2023, whatever. Who knows? But I believe the name is Casey Smith. So this is to you, buddy. So I have the information up here of what you wrote, and basically I'm going to read it out and then respond to it verbally. Okay? So you said you start with, I normally wouldn't put something like this out, but I feel compelled to. Well, I say that's totally fine, totally good. In fact, I should probably leave more comments on some of the videos I watch to help their algorithms, so I definitely appreciate it. Now that I'm getting a little bit more into this world, I'm kind of understanding things. But I am considering starting a YouTube page to document my carnivore journey. I think you should definitely, for a fact, for no reason not to, start a YouTube channel. Because it's one, it could potentially always get monetized. It's a good way to do some type of journaling, help get your thoughts out, put inside the video, look at the response you gave me, and look at the response I'm giving you. You don't know what's going to be out there until you put your tendrils out, so to speak. One of my phrases, I'm talking fast, I'm excited. But one of the phrases that I like saying all the time is adventure begins at the end of your comfort zone. You're not going to know what's out there. I'm watching documentaries, not documentaries, but I'm watching like narrated stories about human contacts with aliens and stuff. Alien contacts with humans, either way. So yeah, so you're not going to know what's out there in the ether of the internet until you create the YouTube channel. You might get 0 views. I have videos with 0 views. I have videos with 1 view, and it says I watched my own video the entire way through, gave myself a thumbs up. Right, so not all your stuff's going to get watched, but eventually if you get out there, consistency is the key in this game. Like 1 video a week at least, if not 1 video a day. There's channels I watch where I watch movies with people that I'm not even watching the whole movie with. So like there's this channel I watch called Dawn Marie. I'll put her link in the description. Just to give you an example of one of the many channels I watch. And she watches movies like Indiana Jones or episodes of like Firefly or something like that, and you basically take the hour and a half, the movie, however long it is, you edit it down to 30, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, in order to go around the copyright and stuff like that, just like with the music reaction video, and has tens of thousands of subscribers and stuff like that. You can get paid to watch TV, but you won't do it until you set it up and put out that video every single week. Just like, even though cable is dying, right, the theme of cable is dead. But what they did is that 1 episode a week of, say, like Friends, or Ice Road Trucker, or whatever the thing was. And so people like patterns, and they like consistency. So if every day at like 5 o'clock, I need to get better at this too myself, by the way. But if every single day, or not every day, every week, on Friday at 5 o'clock, if you always put out your video, people will start connecting with that and expect it, and will be concerned and stuff when you're not there and things like that. And we could absolutely change your life, as you've seen it do with Bill and potentially many other people. So I definitely encourage you to do it. There's no reason not to. But I have to jump around a little bit here in my notes because you didn't write like an essay, you jump around with your own thoughts, which is totally dope. But to address this other part, to skip ahead a little bit, you go on to say, I would never want to steal thunder from Abe. For those of you who've seen my video, Abe is Alaska Bill, right? Abe, or anyone else, I just know what the carnivore diet has done for someone in my situation and feel compelled to spread the word about this miracle diet. Don't feel like you're going to be stealing thunder for doing the carnivore diet. Nobody, for that matter. Okay? One of the differences between, say, the carnivore diet and just a stereotype, the, what are they called? Vegan dieters, whatever, is that we have a loving community, right? An embracing community. It's like gym bros all talking about the gym, right? Like, this is basically what we're doing. We're all carnivore people wanting to talk about the carnivore, and when somebody else approaches that wants to learn about it, just like somebody asking you, like, how do I lift weights for the first time? You're like, this is what you do. You know, you start laying out all your knowledge, particularly if you are a man. We like to lead and share and share our knowledge and stuff, so it usually people will want to talk to you in general about this very thing. So by all means, start the channel. Don't worry about stealing anybody's thunder. There's 8 billion people in the world. 75% of them are starving to death. Use absolutely or live on the poverty line, whatever. But, you know, like, use every single opportunity you have in the world, in America, the greatest country on earth, to go and achieve the greatest things you can achieve in your lifetime, whatever your goals may be. We may talk about that later on with some of those goals you could have. And in general, make the world a better place. Be a force for good. I'll tell you about my drug experience one time I took shrooms, right? But be a force for good. That's what I'm trying to do. Unlike Carrie from Homestead How, whose link I'll put in the description for anybody who doesn't know, who's doing the carnivoremovie.com, will also be down below. I'm going about spreading this kind of word a different way due to my own personal interests and likes. I want to get into politics for anybody who doesn't know. It is my football. I study it 3 to 4 hours a day. It's my favorite thing. That's why almost all the videos on here will be gleaned through a lens of politics, because that is it is roughly 1/3 of my awake, if you will. So I want to put that out there just to be clear. Definitely create your own YouTube channel. Don't worry about stealing everybody else's thunder. Sharing is caring. Carnivore love. Better than vegans who tell you they're vegans even though you don't ask. Right? There's super rare that I've seen, at least in my experience, maybe just because it's not my personality, but I do not tell people I'm carnivore unless something comes up like, hey, you want to bite in my sandwich? And I'll be like, nah, I'm carnivore, I can't eat that. Or if it comes, I'll say, oh, no, thank you. And then if they ask why, then I say, oh, I'm on a diet restriction. Oh, what kind of diet? Oh, carnivore. Right, sometimes it's just my family members are like, no, I'm carnivore, I'm not eating that. They're like, what? I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go get a steak, you eat whatever you want, and we can go watch TV together. It'll be fine. So, I'll not worry about it, but definitely create your YouTube channel. So now to go kind of like back up in order, I guess we'll call it point 3. So you go on to tell me that, for a long story short, you, it says I, but was born with, I know this, I just have trouble pronouncing it, I don't say it very often, but cerebral palsy. Nah, I apologize. I know what it is. I'm super familiar with it. It's just not in my vocabulary. Anyway, and you've gone through many surgeries. Through other circumstances, I'm guessing the surgeries among some, you got addicted to opiates and all the other pharmaceuticals that they threw at you. Well, I feel super bad for that. I think in general, though, I don't know all your situation in your past, but again, right, the political lens. I'm going to be assuming, though, that there were other obstacles and stuff that led to this, as I'll get to in later in your thing. But in general, I am sorry for all those circumstances. Obviously, I wish the best for everyone, except for my enemies, right? You wish them death. But in general, I wish the best for everybody, and I don't want suffering and things like that in the world. So I am always disheartened. I'm not upset. I'm not gonna cry about it, but I am definitely disheartened whenever I see the atrocities and the injustices of the world. Even though I understand that, you know, part of God's plan, if you will. Right? I'll go into that later if we end up talking more, but don't worry about that. Anyway, so the good news though is that you found the carnivore diet. You 3 months ago apparently. You were bedridden with depression. Sounds a lot like Bill's story. He's only been doing it for 1 month, so it sounds like you may have found this a little bit sooner. I'm not sure about the timeline, but anyway, you say. Until 3 months ago, you were bedridden with depression and pain. Again, sorry for that. And God led you to the carnivore diet, and it is changing your life. I in general agree with that statement, but as I told Bill in a different video, I have this thing about God because I was raised up Christian. And God helps, that's totally good. I agree with that. Go ahead and pray and do all the things. Okay? I'm not saying not to. But if you go kneel down in a blizzard and ask for God's protection, you are going to die. Okay? God, to stick with it, to stick with metaphors, but switch to a different metaphor. God will show you a door. He may, depending on your scenario, right? Because different challenges for different people, may even open the door for you as his way of answering your prayers. But he will not push you through that door. He will not put a Lamborghini in your driveway. He will give you the opportunities to earn that Lamborghini and to get it. And one of my biggest beliefs in this is I was watching the anime, I don't remember what it was called, but the hero, for whatever reason, was talking to the pantheon of gods, or a god? I don't remember. Anyway, and they basically, what they informed him is that they, well, I'm just going to say God, cannot interfere directly in the universe. So that's why God doesn't just come down like smite enemies or things like that, minus some like ocean partides, right? And a couple of those stories in there, pillars of fire and things. But in general, he does not directly affect the world. He can only have influencers. So that's where you get prophets and other people like David and Goliath. I guess Moses would also be a prophet, but Samson, John the Baptist, and things like that. He can only affect the world indirectly. So, even though God did, as you say, lead you to the carnivore diet, just remember to always take your own responsibility, choices, individual actions, and whenever things go wrong, just take responsibility. Don't blame God. Don't ask him why. Just say, I understand you're trying to teach me a lesson, or whatever it is, and I'm here to learn. Pray to say, help me interpret the true meaning of your lessons, rather than make me rich and put a Ferrari in my garage. Or whatever your thing was. Maybe you just want to get all the fat off your heart or something. I don't know. But whatever you're asking for, right? But I'm super glad that you did find the diet. I found about it. I started mine in like January 15th, I think, something like that. And like I said, I'm trying super hard to convince all my family members to do it, and my roommates. So I'm already expressing some of my ideas, but then you go on to say, I'd be interested. Am I talking too long? Nah, I'm already 12 minutes. I'd be interested in talking to you and tell my story if you want, as well as get some of your ideas. For sure. One of my favorite things is learning in general, and I also read fast, as long as it's clearly written, right? But like, for an example, when I was in college, I was taking this writing class, and we had to write, I don't know, the teacher would give us some sort of prompt, and we would post it on this like website thing for the school, and part of his curriculum or homework assignment, or piece of the homework assignment, I guess, we'd have to write 2 comments, I guess, below somebody's analysis of, say, the book chapter that we read, that we were supposed to read that week or something. And I'm the kind of person, because I found it interesting and fun, that I would read every single person's response. Like, I put mine up like right away, Monday, and then like every evening, before I go to bed, like at midnight, I would just sit there and like refresh and read every single person's response, and respond to most of them, particularly if I thought they were particularly insightful, creative, or something along those lines or effects. So definitely tell your story. Sharing knowledge, much like Bill Burr, right? You gotta hang out with all different kinds of people. Black people gotta have friends with white guys gotta have friends with black guys. People without cerebral palsy, whatever, have to have friends with it. It's part of life. I don't know that much about it. You can start I'll say that word. I haven't said it in a long time. You can start educating me on that, because I don't really know that much about it. Other than I think Michael J. Fox also has it. I think. So, let's see. What else do you have to say? You are still healing. We're all healing. And going through trials and tribulations. I added that. But one of the things I've noticed is I'm lost looking for purpose because I wasted so many years in addiction, depression, and other health issues. Okay, so I have some thoughts on this one in particular, and this is kind of the thing that prompted me to do the video response instead of a typed response. I'm going to read that again, though, help make sure I help gather my thoughts. I'm still healing and going through some trials, but one of the things I've noticed, this is why I like reading the words too, so I can break them down and analyzing them rather than just hearing them one time, like say in a debate. But okay, well, I would say to address to begin this, I'm not a clinical psychologist or anything like that, right? But much like an AA meeting, you have identified the problem, right? You've kind of admitted. Well, not just admitted. This is something different. This is something beyond AA because it's not. It's an apple to oranges thing. There's similarities, but there's also big differences. Where you have identified the problem, as I've said, but it seems like you lack the not understanding, but you lack the information necessary on how to address the issue, how to move forward. And I don't know what your life is like. Like, I don't know the details or anything like that. And I don't know how limiting your disease? I know it's not a virus. I assume it's a disease. I don't know how how bad or how much your disease affects your life. Like, I don't know. Can you do push-ups still? Or could you never do push-ups? Like, these are things I don't know about you, right? I assume due to the carnivore diet, to some extent, you also might be overweight because I don't know how much you can move around. Like, again, I don't know these kind of things. But if you are overweight and lacking purpose, and if you have the ability to exercise, obviously, one of the best ways to start developing purpose is to pick a goal and achieve it, but something like getting a six-pack. Like, that's a hard goal to get, right? Not just lose weight or something like, yeah, I want some kind of defined, not like Chris Hemsworth or something, that's too much work. You know, like a Spider-Man kind of body, right? But like you would want some kind of something like that. And then when you combine the endorphins you'll get from all the proteins and nutrients and stuff you'll get from the meat, combined with the endorphins that get released from the exercise, this is going to have this compounding mental effect that's going to help keep you motivated. As an example, these are just examples. I can create other ones once I know more about your specific or anybody's specific scenarios. But those are the things that will kind of reinforce and help motivate you to continue going down those paths, the path that I'm making up in my head for you, in order for you to develop purpose. And then when that starts happening, you start mentally becoming happier. Those positive energies will go out and it'll have a circle effect. So a good way to simply put this, if you have seen the movie Austin Powers, I think it's the one, The Spy Who Shagged Me, near the end of the movie, Fat Basher's talking to Austin Powers, and he says, I'm fat because I eat. Oh, no, wait. I'm depressed when I eat, and I eat when I'm depressed. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. So he was literally caught inside of his own loop. Right? So that's the kind of stuff you need to break, which you already are by identifying your stuff, but then you need to create and reinforce a positive infinite loop. And that's what exercise and all that kind of stuff will do, along with working out under this scenario. I don't know what your job is like. For me personally, especially under this economy, I specifically am trying to develop a skill set that is recession or depression proof, which is why I'm studying taxes. Because I figure the government's always going to want their money, and so that job is going to be in demand. And other jobs like electrician, plumber, things like that, like in-demand jobs that will always be in demand. But I don't want to be a plumber. I don't want to crawl through sewage. I could do it, but I don't want to. So I'd rather just be like a tax professional, right? I like numbers. I'm skinny. That's what I want to do. But that's one of the things my purpose on. I've learned not to put women on pedestals, so I don't make women my purpose. I'm just not that worried about them in general. So my goal is not to get married or anything like that. Like, that's not really on my list right now. But things like becoming an entrepreneur, getting in better shape, getting my own six-pack, I need to gain weight. That's what I need. I need to gain muscle mass. I have a small, maybe 1-2% body fat around my gut that I need to get rid of and stuff to help kind of show that pack. But I may actually need to gain weight. But yeah, those are the kind of things. So we can figure out purposes for you, goals, and especially if this carnivore diet thing is going to be a major impact in your life, which it sounds like it is. I would say to some extent, reach out to Bill, Carnivore Diet. I know he's, like I said, is making a documentary. I don't know what kind of footage he's looking for. What I do know in Hollywood, I'm gonna make up the numbers, but they get something like 1,000 hours of footage, and they edit it down to like an hour and a half a movie, right? So I don't know how much footage he could use, or I assume he could use an unlimited amount of footage. But I don't know how much of that footage he's actually going to use in order to put in, say, a 2-hour documentary. Maybe 3 if he's feeling extra ambitious or something. So I don't know about that. But definitely reach out. And the community's there for you. You will get purpose. Even it's simple. Like, one of the things I want to do is just become rich. Like, make your goal. Even if your goal is not physical fitness, you can just make some goal. Like $1 million. What do I got to do to create $1 million? Because here's the thing. Particularly with men. Women, you can kind of take this advice, but particularly for men. I have a bunch of sayings and stuff like that. But men, we are designed to accept burden, right? We want to accept responsibility, but we will not accept responsibility that we don't want, right? But if you put how the saying goes, if you put a task to a man and you give him the means to complete it, he will crawl over broken glass with a smile on his face. So even if your goal is $1 million, if you actually make that your purpose and not just like a fantasy, make that your goal, not a dream. Dreams can be unobtainable. A goal. Your goal is to make $1 million. What are you going to do? I gotta hear mine. What are you going to do? What are you willing to sacrifice in order to accomplish that goal? One of the things, as an example, practice what I preach, right? As an example, one of the things I did in order to get my goal of, say, $1 million was I needed to save up a bunch of money. And so I purposely chose to become homeless for 6 months during a California winter. I was a moron. I should have picked the summer. But timing didn't allow for that. So for 6 months, I just was homeless, saving up every penny I get from my work. I figured out ways how to shower and stuff. But that's the kind of thing I did and sacrificed. So those are the kind of lengths I'm willing to go to in order to accomplish my goal. You would need to, and anybody else, needs to scale that appropriately to whatever your goal is, right? But just, you need to picture your life happy. Whatever that is, something that's obtainable, but what would it be, how would you picture your life being, quote, happy? And then what you need to do is figure out what you need to do to get there. And for most people, it's going to be something along the lines of being in shape, being financially stable, and being happy with a spouse or some type of significant other. And family in general. Right? Like, as a core basic, like 3 things, that's what most people want, envision themselves to be happy. So go to the gym, eat right, fall in love. Paraphrase. Something like that. So you go on to say, if you would like to have a pen pal, I'll be glad to tell you my story. Like I said, I normally never put this out there, but your video made me feel compelled to do it. Carnivore is my new, and then I forgot what you were going to say after that. It's like your new passion in life or something. Which, as I've already addressed, if that is your passion, lean into it, man. Just don't be annoying vegan stuff, right? Don't do that. Don't ruin the good thing we have going over here. But, yeah, lean into it, make it all around, because like some of the stuff I know about the carnivore diet is things like when you eat it, even if you don't change your workout routine or anything like that, things like your muscle mass increases, your bone density increases. So just doing these kind of things will improve your overall situation, even without working out or doing all that other kind of stuff. Wait, I forgot where I was going. What did you say? Honestly, I forgot where I was going with that. So I'm just gonna start fresh. So if you like to have a pen pal, yeah, I definitely like to have a pen pal. So go ahead and write to me and tell the world your story. What I would prefer you to do, rather than say write to me personally, Go create that. Everyone in the carnivore diet who wants to do it for any reason, go create a YouTube channel and post your videos. Once a week, once every 7 days, once every 5 days, once a month. Right? Because one of the things I know about posting videos is that helps keep yourself accountable because you have a responsibility to post things. That's what a study has found about people who post, weight loss photos. Was that if they post to social media, they were more likely to hit their goal. So presumably, if you do something similar, get an Instagram or something too, or just post photos, nobody gives a fuck about you. No, I do, right? But in general, over the general ether, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares yet that you're going to have an Instagram or anything like that. Nobody will look at it. It doesn't matter. It's all just about self-accountability, self-acting, self-realization. To maybe put it in a different way that will help make sense. One way how I view the world. There are 5 personality types, to put it simply. You have Delta, Gamma, I fucked that part up too. So if you would like to have a pen pal, I'll be glad to tell you. I decided to edit that part out. But yeah, I definitely would enjoy having you as a pen pal. Put your information out there. You never know who's going to help you out and things like that. And and for sure, what I want you to do, I remember now. What I want you to do is create the YouTube channel. That's what I want you to do. Rather than creating a video pen pal, as I've thought about the idea, rather than creating a pen pal for me, I would love to be your pen pal. But what I want to do is watch your videos. We'll all agree, roughly 10 to 15 minutes is about the time for most videos of this kind of content, I would imagine. You don't need to talk for 45 minutes to give us an update. Not all the time. Maybe if there's a big update, like you're doing blood work or something. But in general, it should be like a 10-minute update. So go ahead and do that. Create the YouTube channel. Get going on that. Start working. And I'll start thumbing up and liking all your videos and things like that. And by all means, keep helping me out with mine. And like I said, I'm super invested into your journey. And yeah, I would definitely love to talk. So it would be super dope. So thanks for riding again. Thanks for leaving a comment. If you enjoy this kind of content, by the way, to anybody out there, please go ahead and give us the subscription, the thumbs up, the bell icon. Definitely leave a comment or two. Tell me what you think about any of my ideas I have. Any kind of your ideas that you might have. And I guess with that, this Phil, we'll see y'all in the future.